As a child, he collected bugs in the garden. Half a century later, Charles Darwin revolutionized humanity's view of the world. The British naturalist had returned from a sailing trip around the world on HMS Beagle, armed with animal specimens, and the realization that life in its multitude of forms was not the product of a single act of creation. His book on the origin of species shocked his contemporaries, and artists responded to it, as an exhibition in Frankfurt's Schirn Kunsthalle shows.
The revolution that he set into motion was really one of the greatest that took place, particularly because his works demanded a reconsideration of typical themes that artists don't paint. Landscapes, the theme of Eden, Garden of Eden. What did being true to nature mean?
The U.S. painter Martin Johnson Head visited the tropics and painted natural selection, starting with the deadly courtship battles of hummingbirds. The origins of the human species and its struggle to survive became a theme for art. These prehistoric figures are dramatic, even if they don't really look very wild or primitive. Darwin's theory that humans and apes have common ancestors knocked humanity from its imagined throne. It caused an outrage. Darwin became a target for scorn and criticism. But many artists were drawn to the subversiveness of his theory.
Artists were attracted to Darwinism because it was a subversive means of criticizing established bourgeois morals. And I think behind many of those works, without realizing it at that point when I did the show here, that Darwinian ideas were really the undercurrent that pushed them forward.
Gabriel von Max called this painting the Jury of Apes. The professor of historical painting kept a troupe of his own monkeys. He did not regard the theory of evolution as degrading humans, but as ennobling his beloved primates. He devoted a charming series of portraits to our newfound relatives.
We see in them monkeys in which there's a great deal more empathy with the monkey than with man. And indeed, at the time he made them, those paintings were really admired, and he made many of them because there was a market for them.
A flood of publications popularized and helped spread Darwin's ideas. One of these ideas was that life had originated in the oceans. But there were no known traces of a link between aquatic and land animals. That spurred artists' imaginations. Arnold Böcklin painted these semi-human aquatic creatures congregating on rocks in the sea. The German biologist Ernst Haeckel became an obsessive evangelist for Darwinism. The illustrations in his book, Art Forms in Nature, influenced many artists, particularly representatives of Art Nouveau. The theory of evolution inspired sculptors and painters to create strange chimeras, grotesque and eerie. The idea of the struggle for survival in the face of cruel or indifferent nature was frightening or depressing for some. The surrealist Max Ernst envisioned a bizarre fossil landscape. Europe after the rain, painted in response to World War II, showed ruins and dissolution of a vision of a future life on Earth. Here, evolution seems to have nearly come to an end.
What we see in this exhibition is not only that Darwin influenced art, but also that works of art conveyed Darwin's ideas, illustrated them, interpreted them, and perhaps even misunderstood them, and ultimately posed questions that even Darwin hadn't asked, like, where is it all heading?
Can humanity survive? The brilliant naturalist Charles Darwin left us a huge legacy. But he certainly couldn't tell us where evolution's journey is headed.